Your ability to build wealth and start a six, seven, and nine figure brand directly correlates with your sense of self. You listen to learn, you learn to apply, you apply to master a process to build wealth. You work to earn, you earn to save, you save to invest, and you invest to build wealth. You must take ownership of this. They say that success leaves clues. Can anyone explain the true meaning of this statement? What are the clues to start and scale seven-figure brands? What are the clues to build wealth? And what are the clues to embrace a better quality of life? Today, I will unveil success leave clues. 2025 and beyond can be your most productive years, but you must take ownership over your dreams and your hopes and your aspirations. You must take ownership over your life. There's a common saying that success leave clues, but I want to pose to you, can anyone explain this statement? The clues you get often are totally inadequate in the context of attaining high rewards, in the context of attaining measurable results, in the context of attaining predictable outcome, and in the context of attaining the highest degree of accuracy. What are the clues to start and scale your six, seven, and nine figure brand? What are the clues to position yourself to build wealth? What are the clues to embrace a better quality of life? And what are the clues to early retirement? What you need is wisdom above clues. In today's podcast, I will unveil the true meaning of the term success leaves clues. And I trust that you're able to take away lots of nuggets of wisdom that can truly set you on that path in 2025 to embrace your biggest dreams, hopes, and aspirations. Whether that dream is to start and scale your six, seven, and nine figure brand, to position yourself to build wealth, to embrace a better quality of life, or early retirement, the information that you're about to get can help you on that journey. Let us call the first clue degree of clarity. Now, in our world, there's a concept that we refer to as the sixth degree clarity. And these six degree of clarities, you need to learn them, you need to apply them, and you need to master them when you want to embrace any form of success. Any of the above success that I've talked about early on, when you want to position yourself for success, you need these six degree of clarity. So the first degree of clarity that I want you to take note of is clarity in defining and clarifying the tools that is most appropriate to help you to achieve the objective. You see, because very often this is what happens. You may get the right tool, but the right tool deployed the wrong way is going to give you negative results. There are many persons, you may have a phone and you have never read the manual of that phone. That means you have the tool to make the call, the tool for communication, but the most effective way of using that tool to optimize communication effectiveness, you don't know it because you have never read the manual. So you have the right tools, but it's being deployed the wrong way. The same principle may apply. You may have access to capital, but are you leveraging capital in a way that allows it to become a surplus instead of a deficit? It becomes positive cash flow instead of a debt that is stressing you out. Right tools, wrong deployment. So it's important for you to understand pools, definition and clarification of pools. And we're going to do a deep dive into some of these areas today. So when I say tools in the future, you have a clear mental picture of what tools is, because I know that all I'm saying tools, it may be an abstract term to some people. The second degree of clarity that you need is what we refer to as definition and clarification of processes. And that ties back to what I was saying earlier on. So you have the tool, but what is the appropriate way to use that tool, the process, the SOP is the standard operating procedure. You don't know. And because you don't know this process, the SOP is the standard operating procedure, the manual of how to deploy the tool to attain predictable outcome, you're going to struggle in starting and scaling your 6, 7, and 9-figure brand, in positioning yourself to build wealth, and taking steps to embrace a better quality of life and to get to that point of early retirement. You're going to struggle because you may know tools, but process of deploying that tool in the right way, you don't know it because you do not understand the right process. You do not understand SOP, is standard operating procedure, and that is a recipe for disaster. Now, this is why so many persons around the world, you have big dreams and hopes and aspiration for yourself, and you're entitled to this, but you struggle in this process because you do not understand the step by step, and you don't have the mentor, you don't have the coach, you don't have the sponsor, you don't have a supportive community to help push you forward with your dreams and hopes and aspirations. The third degree of clarity that you need is clarity on systems, and this is very important. And let me explain. Systems is you being clear about the tools, is you being clear about your process, but systems enables you to start thinking how to set a machine up in such a way that it is able to function in your absence. Systems. So if you have a system of starting and scaling your 6, 7, and 9-figure brand, if you have a system in building wealth, if you have a system of embracing a better quality of life, it simply means that you can detach yourself from the system because it is a system, and you can transfer this body of knowledge to critical stakeholders at a strategic, tactical, or operational level of the organization. So there is continuity. So systems is something for us to really dive into as time progresses to really help you to understand how the wealthy, how the successful people think. They know the tools, they have processes, and they systemize those processes, meaning that they bring transparency, accountability, consistency, scalability to those processes because it is now systemized. Success leaves clues. You see, the clues that you're getting may not be the easiest things to do, depending on your mindset, but it's the right thing to do. It may not be the easiest thing for the average mind or persons to accomplish, but it is the right things for you to focus on when you want to be successful with that 6, 7, and 9-figure brand, when you want to be successful in building wealth, when you want to be successful in embracing a better quality of life, when you want to be successful as you move towards early retirement. Tools, processes, and systems. Systems is the third degree of clarity. How clear are you about this? Now, I'm fully aware that we can go much deeper into these concepts, and I will attempt to give you further clarity as I examine the sixth degree of clarity that you need to learn, apply, and master. Now, there's what we call the fourth degree of clarity, and this has everything to do with clarity of your leadership ability, all right? Your leadership abilities. Now, why this is so important and why you should be very, very clear about all of this. After years of experience doing what we do, what we have recognized is that you can transfer a body of knowledge to a group of people. Let us say the knowledge that you're transferring is helping them to understand the tools to build wealth, the process to build wealth, the systems that they need to put in place. They may have this body of knowledge, but they're operating like shelf sitters. The information is parked on a shelf for days, for weeks, for months, for years, and for decades. And this parked, they become shelf sitters because of what we call inability to be clear about your leadership abilities. So this is something that you want to be very, very, very clear about. As we go deeper into this program, you would learn about the type of leadership ability that you need to learn, apply, and master. Because if you don't have the leadership ability you in the context of wealth creation, in the context of starting and scaling that six, seven, and nine figure brand, in the context of embracing a better quality of life, you will fail. You will fail before you say one, two, three, mark, set, go, do, re, mi. You fail. You can be the smartest persons, like we have seen happen so often. You're the walking encyclopedia on wealth creation. But when we measure your knowledge versus your application of that knowledge, it leaves a whole lot to be desired because you're suffering from a concept that we call the leadership deficit syndrome. And you want to bring yourself to that point where you can break through and break free from any stronghold that is going to be preventing you from starting and scaling your six, seven, and nine figure brand, from positioning yourself to build wealth, from taking steps to embrace a better quality of life so you can get much earlier to early retirement. Getting to early retirement doesn't mean that you retire, but it means that you have your early retirement fund and you have choices, many choices to make. It just means that you're in a financial place of greatness. But when you're consumed and overwhelmed by what we are calling the leadership deficit syndrome, that is one thing that can significantly undermine your potential for success. In 2025 and beyond, I'm really trusting that you can do what it takes to break through these strongholds. All right, to break through these strongholds. And we at Seven Figure Media, we know exactly what to do to really help you to overcome these deficits. We're talking about the first, second, third, and fourth degree clarity. How clear are you about these things? Successful people, they're very clear about their tools. They're very clear about their processes. They're very clear about their systems. And they're very clear about their leadership ability. Are you clear? So these are the clues. But I know that these are just clues. But what you need is the wisdom. I'll get into the belly of the wisdom shortly to really help you to understand this at a deeper level. There's a fifth degree of clarity, and that has everything to do with being clear about your MVO. For those who might be hearing MVO for the first time, what it means is your minimum viable offer, your most viable offer, or your maximum viable offer. You need to be very, very clear about this. There are many persons who want to be successful, but you're not taking time to understand your value offer. They say your value proposition. In my context, I say your MVO, your minimum viable offer, your most viable offer, or in unique cases, your maximum viable offer. You see, if you don't have something to give, you hardly likely will be able to receive your dreams and hopes and aspiration with any high degree of sustainability. So understanding your MVO is vital. But there's so much for us to unpack as we begin to talk about your value offer. And let me explain this just a little bit. Your value offer is you as a consultant. You have value, and people need to listen to you because you understand the client conversion ladder. And you can show them how to get to that point of client conversion, cash flow optimization in the shortest possible time. That is your MVO. It may be your most viable offer, your minimum viable offer, but you have an MVO. You have a value offer. All successful people that I'm fully aware of, they have a value offer. And we're not talking here about winning the lottery. Yes, you may win a lottery and you don't have your value offer, but we're not talking about that. We're talking about the clues to success, not the clues to winning a lottery, the clues to success. So if you want to be successful, what is your value offer? Your value offer can come in the context of you being a professional. You could be a doctor, a nurse, an engineer, an electrician. All of this represents a value offer. It represents your MVO, and you need to be very, very aware of it. All right? Very, very, very aware of what you're going to market with. And let me talk about something very briefly. There's a concept that we call relevance. You see, you may have a value offer, but how relevant is that value offer to your ideal client? And do you know your ideal client? Do you know your ideal client in the first place? So there's a lot for us to unpack in this. I will give you some of that information today, but I want to invite you to come into our inner circle, our inner community where we unpack all of this. We just don't hold back. And we know that the information can literally transform your life and catapult your business and move you much faster to embrace success. All right. So you want to be successful, and we're following the clues, and then we're going to go to some of the wisdom. All right. The clues are saying that all the successful people that we have studied all over the world, they know their tools, they know their processes. They have systems. They have great leadership ability. They have a strong minimum or most viable offer. And last but not least, the sixth degree of clarity. They master their embryo. They define and they're very clear. There's what we call definition, clarity, and mastery of your embryo. So you define your embryo, you're very clear, you clarify your embryo, and then you master your embryo. You define what makes sense, all right? You clarify who it is relevant to. And once you clarify what makes sense and who it is relevant to, you master this. All successful people that we have studied, these are the clues that we're seeing. And if you want to be successful, you need to take these clues away and learn them, apply them, and master it. But this is the point I was making earlier on. Sometimes you have these clues, but having the clue, you're not better off than you were previously because the clue is only the clue. What you need is wisdom. And wisdom is what's going to help you to unpack this concept and go deeper into understanding the deepest of meaning that you should be extracting from these statements. And that's what's going to give you the ability to apply the concept and optimize your level of success. So let us do a deep dive into some of these clues and unveil some wisdom. Now, I mentioned 6 degree of clarity, and in that regard, I talk about being clear about tools. But what exactly are the tools that I'm talking about? All right. Success leave clues. And the first clue is to be clear about the tools that you're going to be using or you ought to be using to attain success. But what is the tools in the context of starting and scaling your 6, 7, and 9-figure brand? What are the tools in the context of positioning yourself to build wealth? What are the tools in the context of embracing a better quality of life? What are the tools for early retirement? It's an abstract term for millions of people across the world. Our vision with 7-figure media is to break this down for you so you can leapfrog faster. And if you really want to leapfrog fast, I encourage you to like, subscribe, and share, and most of all, become a member of our inner circle, because in our inner circle, we don't hold back. So we talk about the 6th degree of clarity. And what I want us to do now is to go into the belly of the 1st degree of clarity. And what is the 1st degree of clarity? Tools. Are you clear about the tools to attain high rewards? So let's think about this. If you want to start and scale your 6, 7, and 9-figure brand, you want to position yourself to build wealth. You want to embrace a better quality of life. You want to position yourself for early retirement. But what are the tools that you need to learn, apply, and master, deploy to achieve your objective? So tool 1 is land resources. You see, when you understand land in the context of building wealth, this becomes transformational. And let me give you a clue on this. All right, let me give you a clue on this. There are many persons that are involved in a concept that we call land banking. You buy a piece of land for 10 cents and you hold that piece of land for a period of time to allow appreciation to take place. And then you put that land back to the market at $100. You see the significant profits here? And that's not even scratching the surface of how land can be leveraged. You want the clues, and I'm giving you the clues. It might be too complex for some people, but regardless, I'm giving you the clues and I'm going into the belly of the wisdom here. There is land that you need to understand. There's labor resources that you need to understand. There's capital resources that you need to understand. And there's enterprising resources that you need to understand in the context of tools. These are the tools that I am talking about. We are talking about at 7-figure media, where we talk about you understanding tools that's going to position you to start and scale that 6, 7, and 9-figure brand. That's going to position you to build wealth. That's going to position you to embrace a better quality of life. That's going to position you for early retirement. Now let's dig into to learn a little bit more, your mindset has to change. You have to now position yourself to embrace what we call a wealth mindset. Success is all about the mindset. That's a tool also. But you really have to be trained how to leverage tools in the right way. You invest to own a piece of land. And I know many of you are going to say, this is capital intensive, and you're right. But you're trained to see the problem, not the solution. Quick solution, group economics. Group economics can really help you to get to this point very fast. Come into the inner circle, and I'm going to give you all of these hacks to position yourself for greatness. But you're fortunate enough to come into a piece of land. How can you up level land to your advantage? Can you put a supermarket? If not, why not? Because putting a supermarket on that piece of land, it means now that you're involved with FMCG, fast moving consumer goods. And because you have land and you're able to start your FMCG, fast moving consumer good outlet, you have people in the community that are trafficking to your location second after second, minute after minute, hour after hour, day after day, week after week, month after month, year after years. And you have laid the foundation for your 6, 7, and 9-figure brand to become a reality. You see, the ability to start and scale your 6, 7, and 9-figure brand is not wishful thinking. The ability to position yourself to build wealth is not wishful thinking. The ability to position yourself to embrace a better quality of life is not wishful thinking. You need to understand the tools, the process, the system. You need to have the leadership ability. You need to have a strong MVO. You need to master your MVO. That is what's going to position you to be successful. I know it's going to be a lot for you to take in. It's a lot for you to unpack. My role in 2025 is to give service above self because I want you to be successful in life, in business. So land resources is one of the tools that you need to become familiar with. And the more familiar you become with these tools, is a better place you will be in to be successful. So perhaps you need to get a mentor, you need to get a coach, you need to get a sponsor, you need to become part of a supportive community that want you to be successful in everything that you do. You owe it to yourself in 2025 and beyond to stop marking time, to stop procrastinating. You know that you deserve better, but it depends on your leadership ability. If you don't know, get a mentor. You don't know, get a sponsor. You don't know, get a coach. You don't know, become part of a supportive community. Focus on the solution to the challenges that you may be going through. Solution. You see, there are people in life that they get drowned, overwhelmed in the problem. You have to train your mind to be a little bit more critical in its thinking. You got to build mental muscles and push through the challenges and come to the solution. But you're going to swim and drown and become overwhelmed in the problem because you're not trained to be the leader that you were born to be. I repeat that. You're going to swim in your challenges because you were not trained to be the leader you were born to be. Great leaders, they think ahead. Great leaders, they see beyond the problem. Great leaders, they're able to take informed action to achieve desired results. And you can learn, apply, and master all of these tools where you can take ownership of your life so you can take full control of your dreams and hopes and aspirations. So get a mentor, get a coach, get a sponsor, become part of a supportive community. 7-Figure Media, we're here for you. So take the time to understand land. And there's so much to unpack with land because there's so much that I can tell you about this particular resource tool. And you want to invest the time, talent, and the resources to really learn these things, apply these things, and master these concepts. All right. Now, the second tool that I want us to look at is capital. Very often we interface with rising stars in business. And one thing that is common among rising stars in business that they always complain of the inadequacy of capital. Is it the inadequacy of capital or is it the inadequacy of knowledge to access capital? And I believe it is, not believe, I know it is the inadequacy of knowledge to access capital as a tool to optimize their dreams and hopes and aspirations. That is the biggest challenge. Regardless, capital resources is a tool. And many rising stars who want to start and scale their 6, 7, and 9-figure brand, who wants to build wealth, who wants to embrace a better quality of life and get quicker to that point of early retirement, the inability to access capital proves to be the elephant in the room, the elephant on your back that you can't get off. This is a tool, and you need to invest your time, talent, and resources to understand this tool at a deeper level. Wisdom. So the clue is that capital is a tool, but it's just clue enough to position you for success. You already know that you need capital, but you need to go beyond just knowing capital is an essential tool for business and financial success and understand this tool to the degree of wisdom. But what does it mean to know capital resources to that degree of wisdom? Let me try to unpack this a little bit for you, because again, in 2025, I want you to win. I don't want excuses. I'm Big Brother. No excuses, right? You want to take ownership of your life, your dreams and hopes and aspirations, and you're bracing the wall, your shoulder to the wall, and you're pressing, you're going after success. Get a mentor, a coach, a sponsor, become part of a supportive community. I can't emphasize this enough. You don't have to do it alone. Now let's talk about capital as a tool. We're going for wisdom. You see, when you understand capital as a tool, there is 4 perspectives of capital that you need to learn, apply, and master. First is to understand capital resources. And that is to understand the various type of capital resources that are available. Because if you don't know the different types of capital resources that are available and you truly understand them, how do you know the best capital resource for your business at the stage of business that you're at? How do you know? So let's take a sneak peek into these capital resources. In the financial world, you have debt capital. That perhaps is the most common for rising stars in business. But you also have equity capital. And depending on where you are in the world, this is a very popular instrument, a popular tool that is used to start and scale a 6, 7, and 9-figure brand, position yourself to build wealth, equity. So you have a great idea and you're saying to yourself, I'm starting my business now. I don't want to be saddled with monthly debt obligation where I have to pay interest and, principal balance. I don't have to be saddled with a PITI, principal and interest, tax, and insurance. So I'm going to take equity. So you find an equity partner. The equity partner comes on board. The equity partner walks away with 10% equity in the business. The business has great potential to grow. 10% means the equity investors perhaps get a significant return, and they're happy with that. But you don't know it. Because you don't know it, you can't negotiate it. Because you can't negotiate, you can't benefit from that negotiation. Because you don't know the tool. Degrees of clarity, first degree of clarity. We're still at first degree, but you see how much information you need here. Our role is to go into the depths, into the belly of these concepts, so as to ensure that we set you up to win in business and in life. So the first element here, we are looking at understanding capital portfolio. So you have debt and equity, you have credit, you have creative financing, you have hard money lending, just to name a few. Remember I said earlier, is the challenge the inability to access capital, or is the challenge the limited knowledge about capital access? Because I want to promise you there is no shortage of money. But there may be things that you need to do to position yourself to access that you don't know. And in that case, you should get a mentor, you should get a coach, you should get a sponsor, you should become part of a supportive community that can help you navigate this reality. Capital portfolios, capital access. Do you know how to access? Because when we are talking about wisdom and tools, it's not enough for you to know that the tools exist. It's equally important for you to understand how to access the tool. It's important for you to know how to access it. Let's take, for example, that you're a real estate developer and you need capital to advance your real estate portfolios. Everybody knows that money exists. Where you are, you don't have access to capital, and your strategic, tactical, and operational team don't know how to tell you better. But you have a big dreams and hopes and aspiration. What happened to that dreams and hopes and aspiration in the absence of capital? It's put on pause because you don't know how to access. So there's 4 perspectives to capital resources: the access, the portfolio, the access, the leverage, and the mitigation. And you need to learn all of this if you're going to come to that point of having wisdom on how capital instruments works effectively. For the wealthy, you need to invest your time, talent, and resources to master these concepts that I'm giving to you. It's not enough to understand the portfolio. It's equally important to know how to access, how to leverage, and how to mitigate. And let me give you an example of what I'm talking about right now. When you want to access capital, there's one thing that I want you to do right now. I want you to go to the description of this video. Right now, you can pause this video and just go into the description of this video. And I want you to find businesses like MB Capital, businesses like DB, businesses like Credit Suite. All of these companies provide capital to you. So I'm not talking with water in my mouth here. What I'm saying to you are things that we have mastered over many years, and we want you to master these concepts because we want you to win. So two things here. You learn about the instrument, but I'm also showing you how to access it. So moving forward, at least you know the instrument and you know how to access capital. So your big dreams of starting and scaling a 6, 7, and 9-figure brand in FMCG, fast moving consumer goods, in real estate or in business consultancy, there's no stronghold on that any longer because you understand financial instruments, the little bit of knowledge that I've given you here, and you understand at least how to access it. This has deeper levels, but I'm giving you information that I want you to go utilize right now so you can change your reality in 2025. So go to my description and start to press on those links and take some time to study those companies and be prepared to access capital. Because I'm not talking with water in my mouth. I'm not giving you a theory. I'm giving you the reality, practical steps to change your reality. And in the event that you want support to go do that negotiation, reach out to us. We have mentors, we have coach, we have sponsors, we have a supportive community that want you to win. So feel free to reach out to us. So once you access, or let me correct this, before you access capital, the way to master capital leverage is to not access and then try to figure out how to leverage. You want to know how to leverage. You want to master how to leverage long before you access. And I know what I'm saying because very often you access capital, a tool, or you leverage capital into liabilities, and that's not what you want. You want to leverage capital into asset, income producing asset that is set to pay you in multiple different ways. The right investment portfolio can give you daily, weekly, monthly cash flow. It can give you asset appreciation, and you can take out the equity and leverage the equity for additional cash flow, and then leverage that additional cash flow into the snowball effect of wealth creation. So there's so much to unpack here. Get a mentor, get a coach, get a sponsor. So you want to know how to leverage. You cannot afford to make mistakes in how you leverage capital because it becomes a liability. Liability leads to stress, sleepless nights, high blood pressure, and I don't want to say the worst. All of that happens. Your dreams are being stagnant. You're not embracing it. And that's not what you want in 2025 and beyond. You want to break through like a shooting star. And the last concept here of capital is to mitigate capital. This is what I talk about. The clue is not enough. All you need is wisdom. And at 7-Figure Media, we will do our best to ensure that you have the wisdom, all right, how to make better, smarter, wiser decisions in starting and scaling your 6, 7, and 9-figure brand and positioning yourself to build wealth and position yourself to embrace a better quality of life so you can get to that point of early retirement earlier. Do you understand the depths of what I'm talking about here? Mitigation. It is so important to understand mitigation, especially when you're attempting to start to scale your 6, 7, and 9-figure brand or position yourself to build wealth. Market realities are changing constantly, and you need to be abreast of the changes that is taking place. If you are not the trendsetter, if you are not the one influencing the change, you at least need to be familiar with the change that are taking place and to be fully aware as to how it's going to affect you and your targeted performance outcome. You want to be clear about these things because that's the only way in which you could mitigate it effectively. That's the only way you could mitigate the realities like a subject matter expert. And these are all things that we're going to go deeper into these concepts to ensure that you learn them, you apply them, and you master them as you set yourself up for success. So today we look at success lead clues, and I promise to go not just on the clues because the clues is not enough, but to go to wisdom. So in this process, we look at the first series of clues that you need to be aware of, because when you want to be successful, it's important for you to recognize that wealthy people, successful people, they have the tools. They know the tools. They know the processes. They know the systems. They are not suffering from what is known as the leadership deficit syndrome. They have They are aware of their minimum and most viable offer, and they master their minimum and most viable offer. Because with mastery, you know that you are in that position and strength to deliver value above and beyond the expectation of the people that you're going to be serving. All right. So if you're providing real estate, you want to know that when people come into your estate, they are floored, they're flabbergasted, they're happy, they're excited, they're at home, and they don't even want to come out of their comfort zone because you set it to appeal to their psychographics. Another subject matter to get into here. But there's so many moving parts to embrace success. And what I promise you that we will do at Seven Figure Media, we will simplify these concepts and make it more user friendly for you because we are truly committed to that journey of building a healthy, productive relationship with you to ensure that we can position you to be successful in 2025 and beyond. Now, we've only looked at two aspects of the tools, all right? There are two more aspects of tools for us to look at. But because we're going for depths, these programs can take some time for us to exhaust. So get settled in and just enjoy the journey. I don't want to go too fast because although I didn't go fast here today, I know there's a lot of information that you had to unpack. But the aim here that I want you to do is to know that solid promise is being made. And for the rest of 2025, the content that you're going to be getting from Seven Figure Media is going to set you up to leapfrog your 6, 7, and 9-figure brand vision. So whatever that vision is, we're going to provide you with a context of information and the support when you come into our community to get there faster. You want to build wealth? We're going to talk to you about wealth building strategies. We're going to expose you to a mentor, a coach, or a sponsor supportive community. We're going to do all of that for you because we truly care about you. All right. So I trust that you would have enjoyed today's program. A quick recap. We talk about clarity. The first degree of clarity the first degree that you want to know when you want to be successful is clarity. All right. You want clarity. And there's 6 degrees of clarity. Clear about your tools, your processes, your systems, your leadership ability, your MVO, and mastery over your MVO. You want to be clear about these things. Very, very, very clear about these things. So you had some clues, and I begin now to paint a picture of the wisdom, because what you really need is the wisdom. The wisdom is what gives you the high reward, the measurable results, the predictable outcome with the highest degree of accuracy. You see, have you ever sit down with anyone with wisdom? When they advise you to do something, they're not advising you to do it because of imagination and speculation and guesstimation. They're advising you to do it because they know the predictable outcome. And if you follow the particular path, the crumbs, the clues, you're going to get to the predictable outcomes. So you need to ensure that you have a trusted mentor, coach, sponsor, supportive community that represent wisdom. That sometimes they may tell you to do things and you don't understand why they're saying it to you, but you're doing it anyhow because you trust them. And I want to share some clues with you, right? Very often in our training programs, our master classes, because we train persons from all over the world, there's some clients that would resist the things that you're saying to them. One client wants to start and scale their 6, 7, and 9-figure brand, but of course they're an educator, an adjunct professor, but their area of study is not business, education. So as you roll out strategies and best practices, one of the things that I could remember that we did recommend is that you have to build healthy, productive relationship with people. In fact, relationship has to be built at 4 different levels. Relationship at 5, healthy relationship with yourself. The mindset has to be right. Healthy relationship with your team, healthy relationship with the ideal client, healthy relationship with the public. And if you don't have healthy relationship across this ecosystem, you have problems. So the task that I give him, this client, I wouldn't call the name, I say you have to go get out, you have to go build relationship. And if you don't have the time to do it, you need to have a team, strategic, tactical, and operational team to go do this. And the client was resistant. A mentor with wisdom has been there 1,000 times and they know the only way to make this thing happen is that you have to build relationships. Again, when you're coming to learn, you have to be open-minded. You cannot be closed-minded. You have to come be prepared to listen, to learn to apply and master a process to build wealth. If you're not prepared to do that, your resistance in of itself may be the greatest internal struggle that you have to overcome for your breakthrough to take place. And that's something that you need to work on. For those persons who are not open-minded, you cannot be closed-minded, particularly if that closed mind is not serving your best interests. You need to be conscious of this. And where you see that there's challenges, you need to elevate your way of thinking to fix it. If you don't know how, call for help. So my friends, I want to wish you well for 2025 and beyond. I believe in you, but what is more important is that you need to believe in yourself and make commitment to take your life into your hands, where you are the author, you're the maker, or you're the breaker of your dreams and hopes and aspirations. And I trust that you're all of the above, except the breaker. Make your life what it ought to be. You have the ability to do so. Be blessed and see you in the next broadcast.